let's now discuss personality and well-being in later life. So this leads us into Erikson's final stage of integrity versus despair. Older adults face this Eriksonian struggle of integrity versus despair, and this involves the process by which people are trying to make sense of their life. So integrity here refers to accepting one's life for what it is, whereas despair refers to bitterness over your past. The struggle of integrity versus despair requires people to engage in life review. And this is the process by which people reflect on the events and experiences they have had over their lifetimes. So research shows this connection between engaging in life review and achieving integrity. Those who accept the past are less likely to show symptoms of depression. People who reach integrity become self-affirming and self-accepting. They judge their lives to be worthwhile and good. So basically, in this stage of integrity versus despair, the older adult is just taking stock of their life as that individual is preparing to eventually face death. So when they're engaging in life review, an older adult is really just reevaluating their past experiences and the meaning of their past experiences. So here they might revise previous versions of a story about themselves. They might come to a greater understanding of a certain event and its place in their life. So in a life review, old events may take on new significance, whereas others might lose their salience, and a new and deeper meaning to that older adult's life might start to emerge. Now, Peck really piggybacked off of Erikson's final stage of integrity versus despair. And he said, according to Peck, that to attain Erikson's ego integrity, it really involves 3 distinct tasks: ego differentiation, body transcendence, and ego transcendence. So ego differentiation is this idea that you need to affirm your self-worth through family, friendship, or community life rather than your work. So this is especially important for those who've invested very heavily into their careers. They need to find other ways to affirm their self-worth. You know, I see this, it's so true with my grandpa, for example. So he's continuing to work, and it's just very difficult for him to not work. He's always gotten so much meaning from his work. I think a lot of his identity is wrapped up in his work. And so he's 80-something and continuing to still go to work. And I definitely see him try to kind of shift gears to find more value, more self-worth through his family and friendships. But you can definitely see what a struggle it is for him. Part of the reason why I think it's such a struggle for him is that my grandpa is a marital therapist, and so he's done all of this work on helping couples maintain their marriages. But then both of his sons recently got divorces, and I think that was just such a blow to him. So it's very difficult for him to really switch gears here and affirm his self-worth through his family when all of this, when these difficult divorces happened in his family, and his work role is a marital therapist. So this is definitely a struggle I see for him. Body transcendence is the next one. And this is this idea that you need to start to emphasize cognitive, emotional, and social powers rather than just becoming so preoccupied with your body and the physical limitations of your body. So an example of body transcendence then would be, like my grandma, she really loves doing puzzles. And so it's kind of like especially after she had her hip surgeries, she'll do a lot of puzzles. She'll take it easier. But she's doing other things to still engage with her life, but she's not so preoccupied in the fact that it's much harder for her to get around. And then the last is ego transcendence. This is this idea that as contemporaries die, that you need to start facing the reality of your own death constructively through efforts to make your life more secure, more meaningful, and more gratifying for younger generations. So this is where you might start to plan your own funeral or make sure all of your affairs are in order. And research suggests that body transcendence and ego transcendence definitely increase as seniors get older. So I've mentioned this in a previous slide, but one of the really cool things about later life is that we do see that for the most part, well-being improves as well as emotions. So subjective well-being refers to having a positive evaluation of your life and just associating positive feelings with that. So we see that subjective well-being does increase with age. So this is something we can all look forward to. Subjective well-being does vary with your marital status, trait hardiness, social network quality, chronic illnesses, and stress. And we see that older women may actually experience less subjective well-being than older men. This is most likely due to older women being particularly disadvantaged compared with older men with regard to chronic illness and its effect on their ability to care for themselves, everyday competence, quality of social network, socioeconomic status. So we see, though, that these gender differences are getting smaller in more recent cohorts. And so this is indicating that those societal changes that have happened over the past few decades have led to improvements in the way that older women view themselves.